Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMTrading. Today is March 25th, 2016, and today is Friday morning. So looking at the economic calendar today, only one number coming out. That is at 2:30 p.m. South African time. That is a USD number coming out. It's a GDP final quarterly results. And just remember, next week, a week from today, is NFP. We'll be presenting a special webinar next Thursday evening about how to trade the NFP. That will be at 8 p.m. South African time. Hope you can make it. Okay, looking at the markets already, let's take a look at the EURUSD. EURUSD had these big rallies the last couple of weeks, and then just keeps on tapering off. There hasn't been like a major trade where you say, okay, this was a perfect place to really come in, but it's just showing weakness over last week's big rally, and Draghi speaking, and then the Central Bank of U.S. Came out with numbers. So it's a little bit hard to trade this because it's just trickling down. Not really much of an entry point. It's a little bit difficult. It's in a way it's like filling up the gap, kind of like if this was considered a gap up and this was filling up the gap. So it could get back down to 111. We're trading at 160, 111.60. So we're about 60 pips away from this, from finalizing and closing this gap. But at this point, we've actually closed this gap until here. So it's really hard to say where the next big support is. I would say the next really big support is 111. But keep an eye on this because it has a way of getting back into play right afterwards. Looking at gold, gold's one of the major players here, and it did finally sell off. The reason I say finally is because we had this big rally from 1050 up to 1280. We sold off initially. We call it consolidated up here, loitering, just hanging out, not really sure where it's going to go, if it was going to go higher, if it was going to correct itself. And finally, we corrected itself after almost making a double top, and then not holding this 1250 level and breaking it down to 1215. So this is actually a somewhat of a previous support level right here. We had a support level, resistance. So 1215 is actually it's a big number for this. So I've been looking actually to get into gold on my personal account and looking for an entry point after this big rally. So I mean, this would be a starting point of a possible entry point. I'd like to get the best price we can. So even if it went down to 1180, 1190, that'd be a much better level to actually pick it up in the anticipation that it's going to continue rallying during this year. Looking at the Dow Jones had a big day yesterday, big down day, and then sold off in the morning and then rallied right back. Okay, this is somewhat of what happened yesterday, and after hours marketing we're right here. So Dow Jones has really been very strong. I think we could still hit 17,800-ish level. Not even a question. Just the question is when. Okay, so we're looking at a weekly chart. Had a double bottom at 15,500, and we rallied right back up. But as you can see, that we're really just at the top of the moves. We're really close to our all-time highs. We're only about 800 points from our all-time highs. That's a big correction that we had in terms of the markets. So this is something you got to keep an eye on, see how this develops, because we're in March, which is the first quarter where most of the companies actually are reporting. So that is a really big month for trading. Looking at oil here, oil sold off under $40 a barrel, 39. Kind of bound to happen. We kind of mentioned it earlier this week. Let's look at a 4-hour chart. Let's get a little bit bigger here. We didn't break this $42. We didn't hold it, and then we breached 40.54. Once we breached 40.54, that was the kiss of death in a way to sell it off. So we're at 39.57, which is a respectable level for oil. Still, oil companies are hurting with the price of oil at this price. So just bear in mind that this is it's a very difficult atmosphere for companies that are servicing oil, refineries, shipping companies, etc., to justify the price of oil at this stage. So, it's a double-edged sword with oil being so cheap. But as you can see, I mean, we really have a way longer to go to really correct itself. I mean, people are saying we should have a target of $40 to $60 for oil for the year. All kinds of reasons why output is becoming so much more, because of fracking, because the U.S. is producing much more, so on and so forth. I mean, the list just goes on. But that's irrelevant to us because we're just looking to trade the technicals, and we're at this $40 level, and it's really hard to say, in terms of a trend where we're going to go. I mean, this is not really, showing us that it's looking to go up higher. So I would say it would be trading somewhere between these levels. I mean, we're trading right now at 39.57, which is somewhat of a lower to mid range of where we anticipated to trade. It traded as low as 38.59. If you had a alert signal right here, you could have jumped into it and bought it into it, and made almost $1 on it. So there is some volatility still, okay, in the markets, and still things are rotating. I mean, looking at the USD CAD is another one that's rotating. It's back up to $32, 132, a low of 129-ish level, and finally, this is a point where I could say, okay, we're correcting itself. I mean, this is previously another support level, 128-ish level. We're finally bouncing off of it. So we're at the lower end of it. And remember, this is trading in tandem with oil because Canada is a big producer and exporter of oil. So again, you got to keep both symbols up to see what's going on in the markets. As we enter this final Friday of the month, it should be kind of interesting. I mean, it's Triple Witch Friday, so it could be kind of interesting what's going to happen with the Dow Jones. This is Razak at CMTrading. I want to wish you guys a great weekend. Thank you.